So we have our family business. So we ended up with a 13-week Sky TV show about our family. Each week was something different. What's in the case? Like all these different fun things. And leading on from that, we created our book, Creatively Homeless, because we have no base. So it's kind of how we get out, do what we do. And we wanted to make it so that people not necessarily want our life, but want something different. We were trying to show them all the things people didn't know they didn't know.
Hey you, I'm Mark, husband of one, father of three, maker of puns, climber of trees, grower of businesses, pitcher of tents, occasional cutter of cheese, word nerd, and lover of families. Oh no. Oh no, not yet. No. Oh, here he comes. Where's my oar? Ah! Ah! Whew. Showed that Kraken who's boss. At least until like 2 p.m. this afternoon. I think I'll be due for another attack by then. Let's jump into it. Hey, all of you bandits and chilies. This episode is an interview with Laura Helen. She and her husband, along with their 2 kids, make up a nomadic world schooling family. Her life philosophy is to live intentionally. And we talk about all sorts of things from world schooling to book writing. Now, I do have to make a bit of an apology about this episode, or at least I feel the need to. I was recording this remotely, so the audio quality is not 100%. I think that the Wi-Fi speed may have had a little bit of a lag. The conversation is somewhat stilted. And I think also just fundamentally, I need to learn and develop myself as an interviewer, which I think really comes across in this. So I don't want to, trash this because it was a really good conversation, but it doesn't flow as well as I would like it to. That caveat out of the way, let's jump into it. How are you, Laura?
I'm awesome, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good, really good. My wife and I had a little date night tonight. We had some cocktails and little tapas dishes at a place we've been meaning to try. It was really good.
That's awesome. I love that you're taking time for yourselves as a couple. That
Yeah,
gets
just
missed a lot in relationships.
just offload the kids to someone, and yeah, away we go. So because of the time difference, you don't really have amazing stories from your day yet because it's like relatively early in the morning. So thanks for making time and jumping on. So just a bit of background about your family, your business, who you are, what you do. Fire away.
So my name's Laura Helen, aka Mummy of Forever Family, Forever Free. I have 2 incredible children and my husband, and we travel the world full time. We have no home base. All we have is one carry-on case each, and that's it. And we just like to explore the world. We world school our children. They're both incredible little entrepreneurs, which I'm sure you'll ask me about later. And then we have our thriving book business, Booksby's business, where we help turn people with a passion and a story into best-selling authors so they can go out and make a huge impact.
Awesome, awesome. So I have like 50 questions emanating from that introduction. Um, World schooling. What is your definition? What does world schooling mean to you?
The world is school. Like there's no one size fits all. Everyone is different, everyone is unique, and they should learn that way. I didn't want my children to learn like just one perspective in a book. We're from England, and in England, Christopher Columbus is like a superhero. He founded the Americas. He did this, he did that. It's so amazing. You mention his name in America, it's a very different reaction. So I wanted the kids to learn all the different stories, all the different perspectives, and create their own conclusions, especially with things like history, and get out and experience the world, the cultures, the food. Like people are different, they have different traditions, different cultures, and we house sit rather than just travel to a holiday destination and then holiday destination. I love pools and swim up bars, but if you do that everywhere, every country looks the same. So we dive straight
Mm.
into the heart of a community. We get to know and be part of a community really quickly and find out how they really live and what they really do. And I just think it makes for really well-grounded children that are really open-minded.
Yeah, awesome. So, well, on the schooling things, following that thread for a moment longer, do you have a specific curriculum that you're following, either through a distance ed or a purchased curriculum that you're doing, or do you create your own?
We get asked this all the time. It's what would be the most one of the most popular questions. We completely unschool. We have no
Yeah.
curriculum. We follow
Hmm.
no anything.
Yeah.
The basis of our journey is when the children ask questions, we really answer them. Like
Yeah.
it's their
Yeah.
curiosity. And even though they're older now, because we've never made them do certain things in a certain way, their curiosity is still that playful openness of a toddler. So they're always like, what's that? What's that? What's that? And when they started realizing that we teach them through play and that experience, they ask better questions. So the quality of their questions is so much better and deeper and richer. We go into a
Hmm.
lot more depth the older they get.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. And with jumping into the heart of a community because of house sitting, etc., how long typically do you, like on average, stay in one place before moving on?
Typically on average. Anything from a few days to a few months. Obviously, we had the whole lockdown thing. We stayed somewhere for over a year.
Hmm.
So it really does vary depending on their needs and our needs and where we are and how amazing it is. And
Yeah, yeah.
it all varies on different things.
And obviously, Rolling Stones gather no moss. So, what about connections with family, friends, etc.? That it's sort of that could potentially be a challenge in maintaining that as a family and for yourselves and for the kids, respectively. How do you go with that in terms of the moving around and the turnover?
So we all have these cool things now. So we can all stay connected really easily. But not only that, we normally get places that are big enough to have visitors or that have like we know there's a local Airbnb or a community where they have somewhere that people can stay. So we have quite a few family members now that love their really cheap holidays. They come out, spend time with us. And I find because we see each other more rarely than maybe normal people, it's quality time. We make memories, we make stuff happen. We would have been somewhere for a while before they come, so we get to show them like where the locals go, the best spots, the hidden gems, and make real magic memories. They have a
Mm,
core friendship group and some cousins that we see once, twice a year, every single year to keep that connection. And then friends they
yeah.
make along the way, they've got friends worldwide that they keep in touch with
Mm.
online.
Yeah, yeah, and I guess because of that, like you say, the interactions are a lot more intentional because you know that okay, well, this is going to be a once or twice a year sort of a thing. So when you are catching up or re-catching up with people that you haven't seen in a while, maybe even more rarely than that, it's like this is a real event as opposed to if you have the potential to be catching up at any moment. There can be kind of a lot of maybe mundane events, and then you never go and do that really cool thing. So yeah,
Yeah,
what's your husband's name? Sorry, I feel like I had that in the notes somewhere. Maybe
David.
David.
We're so English. It's Laura
Yeah,
and David.
classic. Um, so you guys have been together for about 20 years.
Mhm.
Yeah. And what would you say is the advice that you would have given to yourself going into that relationship ahead of time? If you could travel back and give yourself a relationship advice, what would you say?
It's the little things that count is a big one that we follow. There's two things. There's the little things that count and don't bring 50%. So the little things every day. And so quite early on, we discovered each other's love languages. Hubby used to always stroke me, and that's not my love language. So I'd be like, I'm not a dog, don't stroke me. So he thinks he's being all lovey, loving me his way. And I'm like, ah, I'm telling him he's awesome. And he's like, that's not landing. So we discovered each other's love languages, and then we can use that throughout our day to make sure we have those touch points where we're making those connections. It's silly little things. He has a shower, he writes on the mirror. So when I go and have a shower, the little note comes out. It's really soppy little things that make a difference. I had to go for like a 12-hour drive the other day. He filled my car all different places with chocolate snacks. I'm female chocolate. Yay.
Yeah,
Just wonderful little things that I think make a big difference in the long run because people often, you had a date night. That's
yeah,
incredible. So many parents get so overwhelmed with life and just stuff and stuff and stuff they forget to keep dating. And if you stop dating, it starts falling apart. And then you hear all the
mm,
time, it's got to be 50-50 in a relationship. We think that's total BS. We bring 100% of ourselves into the relationship. And we're always trying to like outdo each other, like the way
mm,
we serve each other, surprise each other, love on each other. we're always trying to up our game and kind of, I love you harder. No, I love you harder.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a game that we play.
Yeah, that's it. It's like you throw away the scorecard, but you're like kind of maybe keeping track in your mind of what do I need to do to be winning this silent game, or playing the competition game in a healthy, fun way of I'm trying to outgive you.
We even did it
Yeah,
in our wedding anniversaries. Yeah, so the wedding anniversaries, the first one, he had to work and I didn't. So I got him picked up by a limo. We went to Long Beach Safari, stayed in this beautiful hotel, and I thought there's no way he's going to top
yeah,
this. Year two, we got picked up by a helicopter. Like, so like we're always up in the game, up in the ante, and like life's a game and an adventure to be lived, and we live on purpose.
yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Just as a suggestion on that, because the first thing that I've like then come to with that is that you could throw in like a I don't know if this is what they called like the tandem bikes. That could be like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. This is what you're getting picked up on. Just go all the way to the other end of the extreme. Like that's the most ridiculous way that this anniversary can start. Um, just I guess on that as well, in terms of trying to outgive and also thinking of the little things, I would say the common denominator there is just being really thoughtful, because like with the chocolates, for example, it's like that each of those little chocolates that you find a random one in a it's over here in the glove box, and you put the sun visor down and a chocolate falls out or whatever. As that happens, each of those is a testament to the fact that he thought of you to put that there, and that's really what all of those little things amount to and add up to. It's like, yes, that was worth enough of his time and attention and everything that went into that, procuring the chocolates, hiding the chocolates, um, gamifying the chocolates. So yeah, that's really awesome. Now, I asked ahead of this about any fun family traditions that you have, and you mentioned New Year's as a topic. So tell us what you do as a family for your New Year's tradition.
So all year, any magic moments we have, or any special moments, or any celebrations that we have, whether it's personal or as a family, we write them down on a little post-it and we pop it in this little bag we have. Um, and then New Year, how I find that a lot of people at New Year are like, oh, thank God the year's over. Oh, we get to start again. Oh, and it's kind of brought in a negative way, and people are just trying to drown the sorrows of last year, hoping for the next year. So I really wanted to do something different with our children. And if you stalk us good enough on Facebook, you'll notice we've done video lives since they were little. Well, we've always done this. So New Year's Eve, it's normally around a fire. We open up all the bits of paper and start reading things that we would have forgotten.
Mm,
And it's a way to fill our hearts with absolute gratitude to welcome in the new year. So, of course, things happen that aren't great, but we really focus on all the little things, whether it's winning an award and being on stage, or whether it's they mastered a skateboard trick, or, they climbed a bigger tree, or whatever. Like it can be
mm,
seem really little or really big. We celebrate all those, we go through them all. And because we have quite an insane life, you forget what we did in January and May by the time it comes to December because we do
yeah,
so much within a year.
yeah.
So this year's going to have all the Egypt stuff. We rode camels by the pyramids. We quad biked through the desert. There's going to be all these cool things. So it really fills us up. So when we welcome in the new year, we're doing it with full hearts, just grateful for life.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I think something that goes hand in hand with that is that over time, the feeling of like a challenge that you've overcome, it's like the stone in your shoe. You know, when you're stepping on it, it feels like this massive, jagged, horrible thing, and then you take your shoe off and you tip it out, and this tiny little thing falls out, and you're like, where's the rest of it? And that's kind of what happens when you overcome a challenge, is that it feels so much bigger at the time, and then you look back on it and it's nothing. But then when you do like a nice review like that, and some of those accomplishments will inherently be overcoming challenges, and then especially for your kids, that is a really good like reminder of just that, in the act of the reflection, that this is what you did, and look, now you look at that and it wasn't even hard. It's amazing. Do you have anything in conjunction with that for like planning for the new year or goals, etc., for the new year?
Yes, so then when New Year's Day, we normally make a gingerbread house. That's something that we always
Yeah.
tend to do. It's just fun, messy, tasty. But we have a sheet we got scanned off years ago. We stole it somewhere from Google. It's really cool, and it's all about my new year, and it's top three things we achieved last year, things we want to achieve this year, the thing we said the most last year, which the grown-ups is normally always the same, but children's, they have a theme. They seem to change theme as they go through what they want to accomplish, what they want to achieve, if there's somewhere they want to go, people they want to meet, and we just have this awesome form. It's very messy, it's very fun. We get to do drawing and write all over it and colour it in, just to help us have a focus for the next year. And then during January, we normally create a new dream board,
Mm.
either each or as a family. And then as we check them off, we update it as and when.
Hmm.
We started off yearly, and then we got really good at this manifesting thing. So now it's every few months. We're like, okay, done.
Yeah.
Next, and then we can get to do another one and keep creating, keep us focused on the good stuff.
Awesome. So um, that sounds kind of arts and crafty, and you've said dream board, but in conjunction with your lifestyle, is that a digital dream board? Is some of this stuff, is there like a bit of a mix between like physical papers that are getting stowed away in the luggage versus things that it's like, okay, we've done this on paper and then we're taking a photo of it, and for practicality, that's getting chucked, and but we know what we did on that, and we know what we're working towards for the next few months or year.
So that sounds like a great idea, but you don't look at it, I find, if it's
Hmm.
digital, you don't
Yeah.
focus it on it as much.
So it makes it into the luggage.
So we used to do big giant posters, but we used to do big giant posters and then trying to roll it or fold it or without damaging it used to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So now we've got that hack down. So now we'll get four A4 bits of card, we'll tape them with a tiny gap, and then we'll stick them on as four sections, like stick the stickers on
Hmm.
as four sections. So we can fold it into one A4 size
Hmm.
without ruining anything. So we have created that as a skill
Yeah.
of how to create a big green board that folds down to an A4 piece that just goes in the back of the case.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. Close it in the laptop or something, and away you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's safely stored.
Yeah, cool. What would you say? How would you say that you balance? And we'll kind of get more towards the business side of things in a moment. But how do you balance your family life and your work life?
We do it intentionally and on purpose. So when we created our business, we didn't want to create a job. We didn't want to create a job harder than as if we went to work. So we've always intentionally kept the business kind of simmering, is how
Hmm.
we call it. Like it
Yep.
could be bigger, it could be better, it could be better. But we wanted to be selfish and enjoy our children, especially in their younger years.
Yep.
So we've always played and explored all day, and then in the evenings when they go to bed, they do go to bed quite early. Then the laptops come out, and then we connect with our clients, and we are all in. We try to fully focus wherever we are.
Hmm.
So in the day, my kids get my full attention, and in the evenings and nights sometimes, my clients get my full attention. So we don't half a bit, torn
Yep.
attention. We're always fully intentional at where we are, and that's help it keep it really clear. And then if I have day events, which sometimes happen, we have our big family dream board. We have our big audacious family goals. So if I'm off doing business, the kids aren't like, "Oh, mummy's gone off," or "It's more important than me." I'll be leaving, going, "See you soon," and it'd be like, "For the island, mum, for the island, baby," because we have that big audacious dream to eventually have an island. So they know I'm not leaving them because I want to go and this is more important.
Yeah.
I'm doing it to build on towards our goals,
Yeah.
which I think communication, family is everything.
Yeah, awesome. Well, coming back, I get the first question I have on the clients thing is the time zones, because obviously we're dealing with that at the moment. And you mentioned you had dealt with some clients in Australia as well previously, and then obviously what you were just saying now about maybe mainly in the evenings being the work time, how that plays in. But before we get to that, we should probably dive into a little bit more about what your business is and involves. So just to recap, I hope I'm getting this right. There's two main sides of it, right? There's the sort of family coaching, and then there's the books side of it. So
Yes.
yeah, jump into both of those, elaborate on that, and then talk about the structure.
So we have our family business. So we ended up with a 13-week Sky TV show about our family. Each week was something different. What's in the case? Like all these different fun things. And leading on from that, we created our book, Creatively Homeless, because we have no base. So it's kind of how we get out, do what we do. And we wanted to make it so that people not necessarily want our life, but want something different. We were trying to show them all the things people didn't know they didn't know. So it would open more doors and make them realize it's so much more. If we can do all this in the crazy debt we were in, even if you've got nothing, you're in a much better starting place than we were. So we help families create life by design, create life on purpose, and do family coaching to make the connections deeper. And then we have Books Boost Business. This is where we take someone who's overcome a huge challenge, who wants to be the go-to expert in their niche. We make them the best versions of themselves. Our tagline is we create best-selling authors. We make you the author of your life, not just your story, so you can go out and impact thousands of people.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. This is a question that I probably should have Googled prior to now, but what is the definition of a best-selling author? Because I feel like that's something that it kind of it sounds like it would be like on a particular list or on a in a top 10 or something in a year, but I feel like there are more best-selling authors than that. So what's the like technical definition? What does that actually
So,
mean?
like you say, it's been in the top 100 books on Amazon, in your
Yeah.
categories, in your niche.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not about that. The book's almost a side effect of what we do.
Yeah.
My goal was if I could make this person the best version of themselves, then they could go out and impact thousands of people that I couldn't reach because my story is different. So when I say we create best-selling authors, it's not necessarily about the book and the sales, it's about what we create, bringing the best version of them
Mm,
out
mm.
so they can go make a difference.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know whose quote this is, but essentially that the objective of a book is not for you to get through the book, but for the book to get through to you. And I guess in the reverse, when you're working with people trying to make the book, it's kind of the same sort of principle where it's again, it's not only about the book, but it's about the person
Yeah,
creating it.
absolutely.
In terms of the family coaching, what are some success stories that you've had from that?
It's people that are at the point of they're thinking about separation. They're not getting on, the whole house is angry and upset, no one's barely talking to each other, people are definitely not listening to each other. Um, I live in playful curiosity. So we get to go in and hold a safe space, hold conversations, get people talking and communicating, making people realize what's really important and where the focus should be. People focus so much on their work. Um, if you called in sick and couldn't make it to go back to work ever again, they'd replace you like this. If something happened to you at home
Mm,
and you couldn't be home anymore, it hits different. It's completely different. Yet people seem to assign their focus to the areas. So when we bring it back,
mm,
sometimes it's
mm,
just a little bit of miscommunication because normally someone's working so hard and we all know deep down they're doing it to support and provide for their family, to give them all the stuff they didn't have, to give them all they ever want, for them to not want anything. But if you've never told them that, if you've never shared that with them,
mm.
then to them, oh, they've missed my ballet. Oh, they've missed my football. Oh, they didn't notice my new haircut. Oh, they didn't. And then by the time they,
Yeah, they didn't realize it was
yeah,
for
they
the
didn't
island.
realize that stuff. So then when they finally hit success, they turn around to share it and they're gone because it was too late. So we just help open up that communication, get people talking. Intention is so huge. No one wakes up and thinks,
Mm,
as a partner, no one wakes up and thinks, how am I going to annoy him today? What can I do to make him crazy? But through trying to do something else, sometimes that happens. So when you can bring it back to intentions, it changes the game. So we've had people that were close to breakup that are now super happy. They communicate. Of course, we all have ups
mm.
and downs, but they're a solid team now. Whereas before, they were planning their escapes.
Yeah. So I was listening to a thing today. Actually, I don't know where this one came from either, but it was talking about how in life you're juggling five balls, and I'm going to try and remember them here, and I'm probably not going to do it. But let's just say that it's like family, health. I can't remember one of them being work, and that crucially the work ball is made of rubber, and if you drop it, it'll bounce back up. But all the others are made of glass, and I just thought that was a really interesting way of looking at it. So with the the people that you're working with at that sort of point where there's like a lot of that sort of struggle, what have you found to be something that really makes a difference, something that's like a catalyzing event where you're able to affect a change, or what is it that's like that pivotal
So
point
we
for
get
them?
them to play with us, and we say if we could wave a magic wand and you could make anything possible,
Mm.
what three big changes would you make? And in person, it's great because the kids go with the kids and we take the adults. So we always let the adults share first on purpose. And the adults are like bigger house,
Hmm.
new car, greater holidays, all this cool stuff that we would want if there was a magic fairy to make it
Yeah.
happen. And then we let the children share. And it's, I want daddy home for tea. I want to do more time with mum. I want to do more like this as a family. And within seconds, everyone's crying. Everyone
Mm.
realizes their focus has been in the wrong place. It sounds so little, but the shifts it creates to see your little one going, just want dinner with
Mm.
dad.
Mm.
Like, then they're like, oh my God, I wanted a faster car. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it just shifts things.
Yeah. It's like that. There's a thing a little while ago which I saw, which was the parents being asked if you could have dinner with like any person, like living or dead, and they're coming up with like these,
And they pick a famous
celebrity,
person. Yeah,
yeah, famous person, historical figure, and then they ask the kids, and it's just like mum and dad, and
yeah.
but it is really powerful because like to them, I mean, obviously that changes over time, which is why it's so critical when that is the case, because you are their entire world. Like there is no one else that they want to spend that time with, and you are simply more important to them than Abraham Lincoln or Beyonce. Um, yeah, so that's really cool, and I like the way that you put that with regards to getting them to play, because just getting that state of yeah, that's a I can see how that would be hugely impactful. You've sort of explained that you do that in the context of you as a family with them as a family. Um, have you had some tough situations where maybe there was a little bit, things didn't go quite so smoothly, and how are you sort of able to navigate that, especially given that you're then doing that with your own entire family too, like if you've got your kids involved, how have you navigated that sort of thing?
So my daughter has quite a past and a history. Um, and she now speaks on stages globally, helping kids overcome bullying and suicide. So she's got a wise little head on her shoulders.
Mm,
Um, and my boy has obviously witnessed all her and her shares and all this stuff. And we've all been to Tony Robbins events, Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, worldwide, been to all these incredible world-changing events. So whether they've realised it or not, they've experienced so much
mm,
on the coaching side and watching, people stand up and do these shares. So they've probably witnessed more than some children might.
yeah.
But then we break it down in a capacity. They ask questions, they've got that curiosity, and we answer the best to our abilities. So then when we're faced with that, honestly, sometimes the best nuggets of advice that make a shift in a hard situation will be something my kid says.
Mm, mm,
They'll just come out with one line and it changes. My little boy's even done it for us when he was really little. He was about 4. We still had a house. We had the normal life, and we're rushing to get out the door. You have little ones, just as you're going to go out the door, someone ruins a nappy, someone can't find their shoes. Trying to leave on time as a parent, like, why even plan to be on time?
yeah.
And my hubby time used to be his thing. He used to be like, oh, we can't be late, we can't be late, we can't be late. And as a 4-year-old, he grabbed my hubby's hands once and went, guess what, Dad? And he's like, oh, we're all okay.
Yeah.
We're all okay. What's so wrong? And he just, at the word of babes, right? Out the mouth of babes, like the things they can just come out with and just the shifts they can give people
Yeah.
with one little sentence
Yeah.
is so powerful.
Mm. Yeah, totally different perspective, totally time agnostic. Just yeah, but yeah, it's true. Recently, my wife and I've been really trying to work with our kids at because they're younger, 2 and 8 months, working with them in labeling emotions and just trying to like get expressive around their emotions, and they work through it so quickly. Like once you engage on that front, and as a result of that, their emotional vocabulary, it's hilarious because I was apologizing to my son for having yelled at him because of the kinds of things that a 4-year-old does, and then my 2-year-old daughter is saying to me, "Yeah, okay, Dad, you were feeling very frustrated," and I'm like, "Yes, yes, I was feeling very frustrated, wasn't I?" But yeah, they pay attention, they pick it all up, and they sometimes just come out with yeah, just the right
And it hits different
information.
because it comes from such a raw and innocent,
Yeah.
heartful place. Like with a grown up, I tend to play with me for a minute. Would you be open to? And I kind of seek permission
Mm,
before I share to coach someone to make sure it's welcomed and it's going to land.
yeah.
When a kid just goes boom,
Mm,
it's often with such pure intention. And
mm,
as a grown up, especially a parent, it, like you say, it hits different because you know it's just pure and their truth to try and help in that moment.
yeah. Yeah, and there's no malice behind perhaps what would otherwise be considered a really insensitive comment. It's just pure, like you say. Yeah, and with the books, I don't think we covered this before up until this point. um, so what success stories have you had with your with people that have come to you trying to get a book from inside their head out through their fingers and into the world? What does that process look like, and what results have you seen?
So we do things different. It doesn't necessarily come out through their fingers. We find when people write or type, they get really stuck in their heads
Hmm.
and they're looking at spelling, punctuation, grammar, the way it looks
Mm-hmm.
on the page, and they just keep getting stuck up here. And we want it to pour from here.
Yep.
So we do it in a way where they speak their content.
Yep.
Because if you had to write, say someone cut you up on the roundabout this morning, it was too close, it was very crazy. If you had to write about it, it's harder than if you were telling someone about it. If your
Yep.
wife went, "You seem flustered," okay, you'd go, "This guy did this," and it would pour out so raw, real, true, and authentic that
Hmm.
by the end of your story, she would have all the feeling and emotion that you had sharing it.
Yep. Yep.
Whereas when you write it, sometimes it doesn't quite convey that because you
Hmm.
overthink it. So we have a process where we take you out of your head and into your heart and you voice it, and then it's like gold on the page. It's pure magic. And the transformations we've seen in people, people going from employees to business owners, people going from working in the job center to now having a multi-million dollar coaching industry that is impacting people globally. The
Mm.
success is incredible. Even our children are out there winning awards, getting on stages, doing incredible things. And they did that before they were double digits. So it's quite incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, how long does it typically take to I was going to say to finish a book, right? In the way that you work through this program, but maybe like we'll run with that as the question, but also like maybe breaking it down into the stages of like what you're doing. So, like starting with like speaking your book, for example.
So to create the actual content for the book, you can do it in as little as 4 hours. It really doesn't take any. So the reason we created this system is because I was trying to do this with two under threes.
Hmm.
There isn't that thing. What's everyone got? Time.
Yeah,
There
that
just
one.
isn't any when you have little ones relying on you for everything. So I used to actually create books while they napped. So it was those little 15, 20-minute pocket windows where
Hmm.
I could like hone in and dush. So we help people create their content within just 4 hours. And then it depends what kind of build up they're going to have before they launch. And it all depends on what the end result is. We make sure we get clear on the end result. You wouldn't jump in an Uber without knowing where you're going. So it's just like that. We make sure we know the end result and then we build it as it is. But it can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 3 months. We have had people take a year because life happens. And yeah, the quickest one we ever done was one for my dad when he wasn't very well. And we did it within a week, which hardest week I've ever had. But we achieved that. So he got to leave a legacy before he left us.
Yeah, nice, nice. So sorry, just to confirm, that was his book.
Yeah,
Or it
he
was
just wrote a storybook. He used to tell us stories as a kid,
nice,
so I got
nice.
him to.
And so the time it's taking you to get from like basically to where you are, and then how long it would take you to repeat that. So give us that time frame, and then elaborate on why you think the discrepancy is there between how long it would take you if you had to do it again.
So if we were to go from the normal life, the house, the cars, the stuff, the jobs, the school, all that stuff, to where we are now, it's taken us 9, 10 years to get to the point we are now, which is like absolute freedom, exploring the world. Our tagline is no bills, no home, no worries, and living our best life. And it took all that time, and it took a lot of lessons and a lot of learning, and oh my God, it was so tough. The journey to get here was not fun. Whereas now, if we were to go back, knowing the knowledge we had, or even just our book, just having that book we had that we've
Mm,
created, we could do it in 3 months tops.
yeah,
To go from
awesome.
struggling to pay our bills to a life of freedom, we could turn it around so fast now.
Yeah. And so, what do you think is the real key in that? I mean, obviously, I guess the correct answer is read the book, yeah. But what would be the one key thing in making that change so quickly, such a quick success in that?
It's knowledge, isn't it? So even if we didn't know what we know, to get a coach or someone who's done what you want to do, we've
Mm,
had loads of amazingly expensive lessons when it comes to coaching and guidance. And now we know, get someone who's already living the life you want or who's already created what it is you want to go get
yeah.
that outcome. So instead of doing what we did this. We failed fantastically in so many ways. Um, if you've got that coach, if you've got that guidance, you can do more of a straight line, maybe a couple little dinks where they just help tweak you out.
Hmm.
Whereas when you do it by yourself, you fall flat, you fall hard, you fall deep, and you've got to get yourself back up and back up and back up. Whereas with that help and guidance, you're like straight there.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. And then the other advantage of that as well is that when you are working with a coach or a mentor, they have the objectivity to just see what you can't see. Which, if Joshua Latimer likes to say that if you are working on your own business, you lose like 100 IQ points. Because as soon as it's someone else's problem and you go, oh, yeah, you just do this and you fix that and it's done.
Yeah,
But if
absolutely.
you're trying to solve it yourself and you're too close to the problem and there's too many other things going on, and all of a sudden you're just not asking the right questions, you're not looking at things from the right perspective. So having that, yeah, extra degree of objectivity as well as the experience of getting the result that you want, yeah,
It's
buys
like
you.
driving a car. Having a business is like driving a car. You think you can see everything and you know where you're going, but actually we all have blind spots. And for someone else to be able to go, did you see? It can make a
Yeah,
huge shift.
yeah, yeah. That's it. Yes, for sure, for sure. And like driving a car, it can be the vehicle to drive you to where you want to go, or it can be a really dangerous, catastrophic thing if not wielded correctly, and where it starts to, for example, if there's not appropriate boundaries in place and it starts to impede on the family life and all of that kind of thing. That's a yeah, a real theme of this podcast is keeping it in the place so that it is serving the purpose that it was built for, that it's serving your family and all of that, rather than taking away or requiring service from you at the expense of your family. Um, yeah. Any final closing thoughts on your end, Laura?
So my favorite story that I've been sharing lately is just a little question because I think we should live intentionally. Someone just shared with me actually that there's this new TV show out. I think it's called Blink or something. It's a series and it's this
Hmm.
family with kids. They've got something wrong with them. They're going to lose their sight. So until that happens, they're going to take them all around the world and just fill up their memory bank with all these amazing visions. And whenever people hear that, they go, wow, it made me so mad. People only do it when there's a horrific problem.
Mm, mm.
Any of us could go blind at any moment. Any of us could not be here tomorrow, and we don't live intentionally. So my fun little thing to play with is if I was to offer you $1 billion, would you take it?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so the only catch is you only get 24 hours to live.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You can keep it.
So you're telling me that you waking up tomorrow is worth more than $1 billion.
Absolutely.
So why don't we wake up every day like we won the lotto?
Mm,
People don't realize what a gift it is to wake up every single day, live intentionally, live on purpose, make every moment count. People forget this and it makes me crazy because they get stuck in the mundane of going to work, doing this, doing that, of this routine.
yeah.
They work for 50 weeks of the year to live for 2 weeks how they really want to live.
Mm,
And it breaks my heart. I'm like, get out, do what you always wanted to do, stop waiting. That posh fancy
mm.
candle that smells so good, light it. That pair of shoes that's your favorite, but you never wear them, put them on. Like, just make the little moments magic and make them count. I'm that awkward friend that makes it really awkward. I tell everyone how much I love them. I hug them tight. I do Disney hugs. If I hug you, I'm not letting go first. So I live
Yeah.
so intentionally and purely that if anything happened to me tomorrow, I know everyone I know and love knows I know and love them. I can safely say
Yeah.
I gave my kids the best start I could ever give them. Was it
Hmm.
hard? Was it crazy? Oh my God, it was. But look, we smashed it.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And where can people find you? Where can they reach out to you?
So if you want to learn more about our crazy family and our adventures, it's foreverfamilyforeverfree.com because we're adoption, so we're forever family. And we live this crazy life, we're forever free. And then if you want to learn more about sharing your story, creating books, it's booksboostbusiness.com.
Awesome. Great. Thanks again very much for your time, Laura. It
Thanks
has
for having
been
me.
an awesome conversation. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? Are you sniffing what I'm stepping in? If you're looking for a really valuable community centered around building your business, being really intentional with your spouse and kids, and if you think you can tolerate my terrible dad jokes, then join Family Oriented Business Growers. It's awesome. There's self-paced challenges designed to help you solve key pain points within your business in short, intentional sprints. There's awesome people in there doing awesome things who have experience with stuff that can help you, having stood where you stand. You'll benefit from what's in there, we'll benefit from having you in there, you legend you, and best of all, it's totally free and also free of toxic shenanigans because we don't tolerate none of that. The mission of the group is to help 250 family-oriented home service business owners reclaim 5 hours per week for what matters most whilst growing their business this year. So jump in there and get amongst it. Join via warplan.au, that's warplan.au. Oh no. He's early. Warplan.au. Catch you in there. Ah!